Bring the meeting to order at 9:01. Public comment. I don't think you got anything you want to say. Seeing none, announcement items to be discussed in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, the board will be meeting in closed session for a conference with labor negotiator Rick Haig, convening as the Lassen County In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority for discussion with Rick Haig regarding California United Home Care Workers and Local 4034 on labor negotiation. The board, that's it. We will not be meeting for a conference with legal counsel regarding significant exposure to litigation.
Okay, we're going to.
What do I do? The Republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we pray this day for the blessing. Guide us in our conduct toward ourselves and others, that we be humble and merit, so we not adjourn in anger. May our meeting be informative and productive. In thy name we pray. Amen. Okay, nominative items discussed in closed session.
Mr. Chairman, the board met in closed session for a conference with labor negotiator convening as the Lassen County In-Home Supportive Services Public Authority for discussion regarding California United Home Care Workers Local 4034 labor negotiations. There was no reportable action.
Okay. Thank you. Agenda approval, addition, done, or deletions. Any changes in this board? Bob or Richard in the board? Seeing motion to approve the agenda as is. Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Ayes have it. Unagenda items, reports, or public comment. Any comments from the public? Anybody wish to address the board? Seeing none, move on. Unagenda items, reports by board members. Aaron?
Sure. Went to the fair. I thought it was a very good fair. It was nice to see almost everybody there. And I think it was a good fair, and thank everybody for showing up and their support and all the sponsors. And I thought all the kids did a good job. And I went over to the Jensen Hall and I sold a pillowcase. And so anyway, they had their goal of 150, and I think Austin did the 150th one. So it worked out very well. Let's see, and then I forgot to report last week, but anyway, it was toward the end of June there. I went down 44 over to Redding. And that was my first time that way after the big windstorm. And all the trees that are down along there, it is unreal. And yet we're doing nothing to salvage it. It didn't seem. So I don't know, here again we're going back to the SRSVs and the actual timber receipts. And I don't know, it's just a shame to see all that. All those trees are just going to rot and go to waste because they're losing value. If they're not harvested this year, or picked up and put into the sawmills this year, there's no merchantable value left on. And so there's a lot of money that's laying out there alongside the road. So I don't know if we can do anything with the Forest Service to encourage them to clean some of that up or not. It would be wonderful if we could. But it's just adding to the fuel load. And
the reports I got from the Coordination Council that they were.
Yeah. Supervisor Hemphill probably be reporting on the Coordination Council meeting last night.
Okay.
That was a topic of discussion.
good, very good. I look forward to hearing. And then, of course, the other thing is, on my way home after the fair, I was almost home there and going by Willow Creek, which is my irrigation water, and there happened to be a little pickup park there with a big water tank in the back with a sump pump on there, a trash pump, and he was filling up his little cart in the back of his pickup. And I'm thinking that that's, after talking to the sheriff on it, because that's my water that he was stealing, that that's happening all over.
It is.
And so just be cognizant and be aware. And it goes back to, it's a scientific and mathematical fact that it takes 10 times more water to grow 70 plants than it does 7 plants. So anyway, just something to think about as we move forward.
Very analytical. Very analytical.
Okay, I've been thinking about that all day. Yeah.
Well, I did go to the coordination council meeting last night, and the district ranger was there. And they're very aware of the mess they have out there on 44 and the mountain blowdown. They know that it's time. What's the word I'm looking for? Time is of the essence, and they're pushing everything as fast as they can. In fact, he said he went so far to say last night he's putting his whole office on lockdown next week to make sure those contracts and sales go out.
Between the berms and
Between the berms and the fall.
In the wind damage.
Yeah.
They're contracting it out to the logging firms, not the firewood cutters. I got the impression that everything was going to the firewood
yeah,
cutters.
they're going to bid it
They're in bid amount.
Oh, good, good.
Everything that's within a proximity of a sale, they can add to the existing sales. And they are doing, they got such a large concentration, they can't have a sale on that. And they even figured out how to make the rules work for them on that,
They're trying.
without the NEPA and everything else on it. So, no, it was positive last night on that. The only sad thing is that Honey Lake Power will no longer be burning railroad ties, which is 20% of their fuel load out there, and we all know how important Honey Lake Power is to this valley when we have a power outage, because they supply us power when PG&E goes down. Like back in February, they were on for, 9 days or something like that?
They were on 22 days last summer during those
Yeah, and the chips fires, they were on for over 20,
And then in February, it was 5
to 9 days or something like that. They were on supplying, this valley with electricity, so.
So is that their choice not to burn railroad ties?
EPA will. They kind of slid through the cracks there. If they had got a permit to burn fuel oil, which is totally unpractical, they could burn railroad ties.
If the plant was built to burn fuel oil, then they would be allowed to burn railroad ties, since it was built for ships. And the crazy thing is that the rules have nothing to do with outcome. They have nothing to do with the real emissions. It's the input that is restricted, what they can burn.
Mark's pretty frustrated about it.
Yeah, the Coordination Council in the county wrote several letters over the last couple of years, and I think Malfa's office has made some attempts to do things, and none of it has been fruitful, unfortunately.
But the good news is Farrell was good.
Heard the chicken show was great.
She was pretty good. I got second place in the chicken show this year.
If you're showing or if you're the chicken.
Both.
Okay, that all, Jeff?
That's it.
Go ahead, Tom.
Request to adjourn the meeting in memory of Hazel Sweeten. And I spoke with Mark Schaefer about the Honey Lake Power, and Richard and I have tentatively scheduled a meeting for this week with Honey Lake Power to see if we could assist them in any way. This is a big blow to them, this not being able to burn those ties. And there has been an effort from the county for the last couple of years, which we're probably all aware of, to assist them, and that's not. It's the EPA that has given them fits. So
California, federal.
federal. So I'm not sure what we can do, but I guess we'll have a meeting with Mark sometime this week, Richard.
I spoke with Mark last night after the meeting, and he's not aware of anything that we can do. I just extended the offer to him. If he can think of anything that kind of could be helpful with, we're happy to do it.
Okay.
I don't think he was interested in meetings unless we got some sort of
Okay.
something.
I'd spoken with Mark a couple of times this last weekend.
We don't want to lose them.
No, there's 30 employees out there. We need.
Well, they do a lot of work. I mean.
Oh, they help clean up the forest.
Big circle. They cover a big circle.
Okay,
That's it.
we'll move on to the information consent calendar. Anything anybody wants for separate consideration?
Yes. G2 and G6.
You're not sitting down there to accountant.
It is.
So it's good kind of fun. Okay, we have a motion to approve G1.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please.
Aye.
G1, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Take on G2.
G2, let's see. On page 4, this was on the Chamber of Commerce, the $5,000 deal. Down at the bottom on the vote, Mr. Chapman, he stepped out, I do believe on that. So he should have been absent. And it didn't get listed here, but I intended to vote no on that. Or I thought I voted no on that.
And I think I had that as a no. I'll fix it.
Okay. And I think that was all I had on
Thank you.
You intended to, or you did?
that. Well, I did. I thought I did.
It's another part of it. And I didn't do that, so I will fix that.
So with those changes, I would move approval of the minutes.
Is there a second? Motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. G3.
G3. On page 1 of the minutes for the Art Oversight Committee, under the introductions, I didn't know that Dean had a nickname, so we ought to remove his nickname. It's Diana Dean Stroudon instead of Dean.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Which-
I'm not on.
Which page 1
On
of the
page
July
1 of
7
the
minutes?
oversight committee meeting.
It's
It's the back side of the second page.
BD.
It's labeled as
Budget
page.
committee page. July
Susan, it's right here. I got it circled here if you want it. You can have my copy in a second.
BD.
And then I had another question. Let me find it. I think it goes back to the Honey Lake Valley. Yes, the Honey Lake Valley resource. In their copy of their minutes, they're talking about correspondence, that the correspondence consists of a notification from the Board of Supervisors, conflict of interest, and then accepted documents that the Board of Supervisors accepted, Lori Tippin. And it didn't say anything in there, because I thought we was going to also send them a letter that they needed to have their own elections in the future. Did we not do that?
Yes, we did.
I'm sorry, where are you?
He's an RCD
In
stuff.
the RCD.
Oh, RCD, okay.
Yeah.
We have done that once previously.
We
This
done that
is
one
our
previously.
first rodeo.
Yeah,
But
but I
anyway,
don't,
but this is just their minutes, and they didn't say anything about there that they should have received a letter as well saying that, we need to have their own elections, and I just want to make clarification that letter had been sent.
I don't think it had, I don't think one's been sent recently, no, sir.
These are the May 27 minutes.
Right, and this is saying that,
Okay, so whatever the minutes say, whatever the minutes don't say, I'm not operating on the belief that I was supposed to send a letter saying that. If I missed that, I apologize.
well, I don't know if we were supposed to send a letter,
Okay.
but we had talked to them specifically that was part of the deal when we appointed Lori.
I remember that exchange occurring. Yes, sir.
And
And I know we had sent correspondence, but that was back in the time of Supervisor Wasik chairing the board. We had sent it through in a previous selection process,
Right.
expressing that we
Expressing
were
that
interested in that.
they hold their own
It
elections.
was last year sometime.
Yeah. When
I
she
thought we
was
did that
appointed.
again with Lori.
When she was appointed, which was, what, February?
Yeah, so it was quite a while ago.
Okay, and so I'm not understanding, you like
Well,
their minutes to reflect that?
no, I don't want their minutes to reflect that.
He was looking for where the letter was sent.
Oh, okay.
Where the letter was sent, and make sure that our letter had been sent, because it wasn't acknowledged in their minutes.
Right, I think it was, but I'll verify that.
If you would, please, that was my question on that.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that our letter had been forwarded on to them, so we're eliminating some of these problems in the future.
I just don't recall a second iteration of that occurring. I remember it from last summer, fall. I don't remember it from this most recent summer.
But I'm sure we did, didn't we?
Again.
That doesn't mean anything, though.
Oh,
I don't remember it.
Again.
Wasn't that right, Tom?
Yeah,
That's what I was saying.
yeah, absolutely.
Susan?
Okay, with that discussion, we have a motion to approve. Mr.
I'll make the motion.
Peter,
Second.
motion and second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no, ayes have it. We'll go to H, Auditor's Office, Johnsonville Water System. H1.
Good morning, Diane Rubel, Lassen County Auditor. This basically is just a little bit cleanup. Last November or August, it was adopted by the board to transfer the Johnsonville water system to the city, but we didn't have an appropriation to actually do the transfer. So this is just a cleanup to make the appropriation so we can take it off the books. The land is valued right now in the books at $25,000.
Questions?
And so that money will go to the general fund, or?
There's no money, you guys just transferred the land to the city, so there's no sale or anything.
The land's
That was
on the
that
books.
was a little bit wondering. I couldn't quite figure that out.
Yeah, there was no sale, so, but the land sits on the book as an asset, just like cash. In
Okay.
order for me to
Okay.
remove it
Okay,
from the books, I need an appropriation, so it would be considered a contribution to other government.
okay.
Okay.
By the superintendent.
In this case, the city of Susan.
Yes.
I move that we approve the appropriate action.
Second.
That would be an increase in fiscal year 2014-15 Fund 589-945 appropriation by $25,000, requiring a 4/5 vote.
589.
Thank you.
You got a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any more discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please. Mr. Council.
4/5 vote, sir.
Supervisor Alba,
Aye.
Supervisor Campbell,
Aye.
Supervisor Hammond,
Aye.
Supervisor Pyle.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Diane.
Thanks.
H2, Lassen Social Services, Mel.
Good morning. Melanie Crowley, Health and Social Services Director. Typically, the Health and Social Services Department does come in July with our list of contracts for approval because we have some contracts with some small nonprofits who rely on funding from us in order to keep the doors open. And we don't want to disadvantage anyone by letting our contracts go until after the budget is passed. Now, we do have the operating budget that was passed last month, and we don't have all of our final allocation letters yet, as we typically don't in Health and Social Services. We often don't until well after the budget is passed, but we're confident that we will have sufficient funding to pay on these contracts as needed. So I'm asking this morning for your approval of this list of contracts so we can go ahead and get Richard to sign all of them. At his convenience.
How many contracts is
There's
there?
a bunch.
I started trying to count them, then I just,
I will point out, because of our discussion last week, that one of the contracts, and it's on page 11 of the spreadsheet there, is with Crossroads Ministries, and just because we had that discussion last week.
And it was pointed out to me this morning that the HSP lease is also on there, and that's just an oversight on my part. It was because the property transferred, we didn't get a notice saying, we're done, you're out, you're no longer the tenant or anything like that, and I have a brand new secretary who didn't know and just got the lease ready to go again. My fault.
So is that a correction to your list? Or?
It could be deleted.
Yeah, it can be deleted. Bringing it down from
What is it
184. It's on page 12. It's the lease with HSP Resources.
Bob, you review all these contracts?
The Office of County Council does, yes, sir. Correct?
We keep you busy.
Yep. Not personally. We have staff for that purpose, sir.
Yeah, I get it.
Yes.
That's how you keep caught up on your sheet.
No.
I have to read all of them too.
Aaron.
I had a couple of questions. You know, on these, as we was going through them, I went through some of these, and I mean, is it really getting that bad where they have to nitpick and charge by the minute?
I mean, 'cause it seems.
On the behavioral health contracts,
Yeah, I mean,
they're always by the minute. They have
Really?
always been by the minute because that's how Medi-Cal pays.
By the minute.
And insurance companies have taken up that same manner, and the services are expensive, so they charge by the minute.
I'm very surprised. And then on page 7 with the one-stops with the, for the internet connectivity, I mean, that just seems ridiculously high. For 3 one-stops, and it costs that much for the internet? For 3 years? I mean, it's $190,000 each for 3 years.
Yes. It's a business class connection, a secure connection that meets our HIPAA requirements. And we typically get discounts that come in after the fact, so we don't have to pay all of that, but we want to make sure it's on there in case for some reason our eligibility for the discount, it changed the program, we're no longer eligible or something like that. You get rural health discount, there's a discount that the county gets on internet connectivity, but that's the base contract before the discount.
So how much do you discount? I mean, what's the value of the discount?
It ranges right around half,
Oh, because
depending on which discount we get. I mean, it'll vary.
So like this, the way this is written here, it's $190,000. Is that $190,000 a year, or is that divided over 3 years?
That's over 3 years.
So who's that contract currently with?
Frontier.
And there's no other options? I mean, at least down in Doyle or Westwood?
No, and it's because of the way the bidding went on the discounts. There's a process, we have to apply for this FCC process, and then there's rural discount programs that you apply for, and it goes out to bid, and companies bid on it in a package, and then they put it together, and the packages all came through Frontier. It wasn't the Frontier put the package together, but that's the company they chose as part of their package for whatever reason. I mean, the bids came in, and we got the best we could get.
Because isn't there the high-speed line?
Yeah, Blue Sierra comes right through rural. They supply
fiber optic.
fiber
And
optic.
maybe the next time we go out to bid, that will be part of the bundle. If we just go with, the bid that comes to us, and that service is part of that bid, because there's installation and other things that go along with it.
Anyway, there is a lot of contracts. It's just very surprising on how some of this stuff works.
Yes.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Thank goodness we got you to figure all this stuff out.
There are days I go, are you serious?
That's what I was looking at. Some of these, I like you say, some of the stuff is just expensive, and it
Yeah.
has to be the way it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Behavioral health services in particular are very expensive. And the high-speed internet's very expensive. Going back to the Crossroads contract, that's about $78,000. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have or provide information. I'm very excited that we're forming a task force on homeless issues, because it's not a single cause issue, and it's not going to be a single solution answer. So, yes, in public administration, academia, they call it a wicked problem, because it involves people and it's not clear cut.
And how much of a problem would that be to roll on that one contract until the stuff we talked about last week maybe gets...
Well, there's a 30-day cancellation clause required. I can't just suspend payment to them.
Well, no, I mean as far as renewing the contract.
Well, you guys, I mean, it's up to you. If you want to pull that one off, you can do that. And then, I still will need to give Sherry notice, but that can wait until later to be approved. They are not one of the ones that typically are really totally reliant on us for their income. So.
Well, I was looking through this grand jury report, and I saw some of this stuff, these organized camps, and inspect and permit organized camps for compliance with food, water, medical waste, sewage, and housing requirements. Is that being done along the river?
Not an organized camp.
Yeah, I know. So they don't, none of those camps fall under, or none of those locations fall underneath any of this stuff? septic system, solid waste, I mean, isn't there a way that we can,
My understanding is they're camping there illegally.
absolutely.
On private property.
I want to steer us back to the
Okay,
agenda
okay.
if we can. We're not agendized for that discussion.
Okay.
And, feeling like we've departed from the
Okay.
topic substantially enough that I'm feeling the agenda
No problem,
problem.
no problem.
Well, if it's okay, I would rather hold off on
Sorry.
the crossroads for now. I mean, not necessarily renew that as of right today with this.
Bring it back. Is there, will that stop the services?
Probably as soon as I let her know. I mean, she'll still be providing services.
We're
She'll
going
just
to-
have to find some other funding source to charge.
Perhaps we should, if Mel could discuss exactly what the services are that
And what are we achieving by postponing?
What's the contract for?
The contract is roughly $78,000 for services to CalWorks recipients to provide a program called FaithWorks. This was part of the push during the 90s for faith-based contracting. And we do have some CalWorks recipients who are more comfortable, more responsive to faith-based services. They provide them with a mentor, provide them with life skills, sometimes in classes, sometimes one-to-ones mentoring. The goal is to have people enrolled in both CalWorks and in FaithWorks, if that's what they choose, and then we share information, make sure that we get their participation information back for the state, and that they obtain employment. There's a requirement that 5 obtain employment sometime each month, and I don't remember the last time I saw a report on that, because now they come to Eric, but typically they do get people employed. And they are working strictly with the CalWorks recipients. They also provide them with other kinds of supports that they may need, clothing, place to take a shower. If they can't get to a job interview, they might have a way to shower, something like that, those kinds of supports. They are also able to provide some barrier elimination, which we also do through our CalWorks program. So if a person needs to have a repair done on their car so they can get to a job, we can pay for that. And so we provided money in this contract for them to do that on their side. We are careful to cross-report so we don't duplicate any of this assistance. They are required under this contract to report on cooperative participants. So if someone they enroll in their program doesn't show up, doesn't do what they're supposed to do, they're required to report that to us so that we can take the steps to sanction them or whatever is necessary to do. They provide training under this contract to their mentors and case managers, make sure that they're all good to go and know how to do their job. And then they report to us. That's part of this contract. And this is for CalWorks recipients only. Typically, that would not be the people living down by the river. But it is money to Crossroads that helps keep them open, so I understand your concerns.
Thank you.
What question for Mel? Seeing none, what's the pleasure of the board?
And after that explanation from Mel, I appreciate that.
Yep.
And reconsider. So I would move approval of the Health and Social Services Department contract fiscal year 15 and 16.
I'll second that.
And authorize the CEO to execute the agreement on their behalf.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Ayes have it, thank you, Mel.
Thank you.
DAO office.
Let's see. I will be attending a CAO meeting Thursday in 20 this week. We met last week for budget committee and we're continuing that budget process. And that's all I have to report this week. Oh, grand jury report's out. I think you all got a copy of it.
Yeah.
And there are a couple items there that require our response, and I'll be, the council will be drafting some responses.
Okay.
We've got 90 days, I think. 60 or 90 days.
That's it.
Okay, our next agenda item is 11 o'clock. It's uncertain, so I guess we can take a recess.
Neither of those employees intend to be here this morning, so
perhaps we should re-agendize that, would they be available? No.
They're not.
They're not. Why don't we just pull that item off the agenda?
We can do that. You need a motion, I guess, to do that, Bob.
Yeah, it would be basically reopening.
Agenda approved by addition and
Yes.
deletion.
Yes.
And Alex, I want to move it to next week, even though you're not going to be here, there's an action item.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
So I would move the table, D1 and D2 till next month,
Yes.
next week,
Good.
till next meeting.
Second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Meeting adjourned.
Nice meeting. Hey,
Temporary
day
day
off.
That's it, anything?